In this final lecture playlist, I want to offer an overview of some of the key arguments that we've covered this term. And I want to kind of present the big picture, so to speak. I want to show how the different pieces of all the different arguments that we've been looking at fit together in a kind of overarching dialectic. So my hope is that this will help you see how all the various arguments that we've covered so far relate to each other. So one of the things that I'm really hoping is that this will help you write your essay. You're supposed to write a critical comparison for me, and that means you're going to take two or more of the authors that we've discussed and put their views together in a kind of critical dialogue where you're weighing their respective strengths and weaknesses. And so I hope that by giving you this sort of big picture view of this overarching picture of the dialectic as it unfolds as a kind of argument for this entire module, that will put you in a position to say, okay, well, I want to focus in on this aspect of the dialectic and put these people in conversation over their potential disagreements. So hopefully this will help you write your essay. And I also wanted to mention that I've noticed that when people view the lecture playlists, the viewing tends to drop off in the last one or two videos. That's problematic because often some of the most important dialectical moves in the argument happen in the last one or two videos. So I didn't anticipate that happening, and I'm kind of worried about it. I think that might be getting in the way of people understanding the material. And I just want to ask you, please watch the entirety of this video. This lecture playlist is going to be longer than most of the ones that I've created, but I ask you to please watch the entire thing because it should give you a picture of the whole of the module and how all the different pieces fit together, like I was saying. But if you just watch part of it, you're probably going to miss some crucial moves, and so you won't do as well on your paper as I would like you to. So I'm hoping that you'll engage with this. So the last thing I wanted to say in this little introduction is that at the beginning of this particular playlist, I'm going to be focusing on how genealogical debunking arguments affect our moral beliefs. So we've been focusing on religious beliefs because this is a module about the epistemology of religious belief, essentially. But I want to point out that genealogical debunking arguments, if they're successful against religious beliefs, then they're also successful against our moral and political beliefs. If you recall, that's one of the things that Miriam Schoenfield pointed out, and one of the first things that we read in this module. She said these deeply socially influenced beliefs our religious beliefs, but also our moral and political beliefs, have the same kind of weak points when it comes to these considerations about genealogical debunking arguments. So I want to begin by talking about moral beliefs here because I've had this impression that some people have strong negative views about religion in advance of coming into this module and thinking about this material. And I think that those strong negative sort of starting points for thinking about these topics might make them think that genealogical debunking arguments are more forceful than they actually are. So that's just a guess. Maybe I'm wrong. It's a hunch of mine. But I want us to approach the question of how they bear on our moral beliefs so that, we can sort of just take a different angle on the arguments. And I'm hoping that will help students, not only see the arguments in a different light, but maybe take a closer look at them and to really evaluate the extent of their efficacy. Okay, that's all I really wanted to say by way of introduction. So we'll start by talking about genealogical debunking arguments and how they bear on our moral beliefs.